Hey guys, Zach with GI Tactical, and today I want to talk to you guys about hard cases. So we set a lot of our options out as far as the hard cases go to store your rifles or your primary guns. And there's a lot of different options on the market. This is just what we have in store. And I wanted to kind of go over why we prefer hard cases over the soft cases. So we can take, for instance, we have a soft case over here as Matt runs away. So we take a soft case like this, it's a double gun case, and they're coming in right at $100 for a double gun case like this. Now, while you can fit two rifles in it, two SMGs, whatever you want to fit, possibly even a sniper rifle with plenty of mags and everything, this isn't something that you're really going to be throwing around. Now, for a lot of us, we're pretty hard on what we use, and we want something that's also going to be durable against a lot of the elements. I mean, this is still thread, this is Cordura wrap, we got to worry about the stitching and everything. And I mean, over time, yes, stitching is going to wear it down. It's going to happen with our gun bags. I still have a couple of gun bags, but they've really kind of faded out since I started using more hard cases. So we'll put this to the side and we'll start going over the whole meat of this video for you. So the hard cases that we've set out are a Classic Army 32-inch hard case, a VFC Stackable hard case, a Classic Army 42-inch hard case, and the ASG or Strike Systems rifle hard carrying case in black, which is supposed to be 46 inches. So we've set some guns in there so you can get an idea of what's going to fit. We'll start all the way down here at the smallest one. So this again is the 32-inch case. It has some pretty decent foam in it, actually. I personally use one of these and another one of the Classic Army hard cases. The actual thermal on the outside of this, I mean, you could put ice on the inside of it and it would actually maintain its temperature for a lot longer than a lot of those simple coolers you guys could buy from like Walmart. So this is a very, very durable case. I mean, it's very hard. I mean, I don't expect this thing to take any cracks or dents. I mean, I've certainly thrown mine at places with my gear in it with no worry. So again, this is a 32-inch case, so it's going to be a little bit smaller. Now it still is pretty deep, and you can actually like cut the foam if you want, if you need like a little more depth to your case. So you have like 3 inches of foam here that you can actually cut down, and even inlay it if you want to get your gun the perfect fit on the inside of here. So the actual inside dimensions, if we want to look at them, just so you guys can see why we do it on video here, it's just at exactly 31 inches. So just on the inside, we're sitting at 31 inches there. And then if we're going to look at top to bottom here, we're going to be sitting just under 12 inches, or just above 11 inches, excuse me. So you have about 11 by 31 to really work with in this case. Also about a whole, like I said, about 3 to 4 inches of depth that you can play with as far as, if you have accessories mounted to the side or anything, which is a great advantage of the Classic Army hard cases, on top of the fact that they're already extremely durable, and they have places that you can actually lock them. So if you're going to be flying around the country, you have 2 places you can secure locks on these things on each corner. And the actual locking points here, they're very stiff. So it's going to be a little harder to pop than a lot of the other ones that we have here. But it'll certainly lock down. I mean, that Scorpion SMG that we have in there is firmly in place. And like I said, these are a harder buckle than most. So that's completely secure. And this comes in at right at $100. I mean, this is, like, I'm not really worried about that case whatsoever. So then we go to a lesser expensive option. This is the VFC Stackable hard case. Now they come in 2 colors. It's going to be both a dark bronze or dark brown kind of tan color, or they come in black. So as you see, they have just simple padding. It's a very light eggshell crate kind of foam padding on the inside. This is going to be more like a short barrel rifle, not with a bunch of accessories, because you can't really stack it too high or too deep. As you see from before, there are layers of foam. You have another about ½ inch layer here that you can pull out to make a little more space or a little more depth in the case, in case you really wanted to get a good secure fit for a rifle with a little more to it. But even this VFC Avalon still fits just fine. Without an issue. This is going to be more of a encased polymer with a good amount of plastic. I mean, you can hear it's really hollow on the inside, like a vacuum seal or anything. And it doesn't have any kind of O-ring seal like the Classic Army hard cases do, as you can see right here. Classic Army hard cases have an O-ring seal to keep humidity out or water from pouring into it, where this does not. So if we want to look at the diameter on this one, or the inner dimensions at least, we have about 34.5 inches to play with on this. Now it does say that it's a 36-inch case, but that's clearly the outside diameter, or the outside dimension, which isn't even exact. But still, 34.5 inches here for your length, and we're looking at same, a little more than 11 inches for your height that you can play with, and only about 2.5 really as far as how deep you can go inside the case. But again, it still will fit a nice short barrel rifle, probably not up to a 14.5 inch rifle unless you close the stock all the way in, because again, you only have about 34 inches to play with. So if you're sub 34, you should be fine in there. And it is still a durable case, it'll certainly last without a problem, but I'm not going to be as comfortable with what I'm throwing in it as I would with, say, the Classic Army cases. So this brings us to the next in the series of Classic Army cases. So this is the 42-inch case. And again, like I said, the O-ring is a big plus. You have just about the same amount of depth as the smaller case over there at $100, but this is $110 for 10 extra inches in length. So again, let's look at the inner dimensions on it for how much we have to actually play with here. So we have right at 40.25 inches that you can mess with along the length, and we have still just a little more than 11 inches high. And again, you have about 3 to 4 inches deep, and you can pull or apply how much you want as far as your padded foam backing. And again, you have the same kind of depth control in this one as you do every single other case we've looked at so far. This one is going to be able to fit the AKs, a little bit longer barrels than them. It also fit, your 14.5 inch ARs. It can even fit an M16 from what we've seen before, but it's not. It's going to be very, very close because of how the M16 is set up. The thing about the bigger cases from Classic Army at $110, they have one of the hardest locking seals. So I mean, getting these things to lock in place and then to come back up, man, you can hear how hard that's hitting. Like, they are secure. Like, this thing's not going anywhere. Like, that's a very positive clamp. You still have your locking ports on here, so you can put a padlock, or you can put a tumble lock, anything on there, or key. So if you do want to fly with your equipment, this would be one of the better cases to pick up. You certainly have to apply pressure to the top to be able to release these tabs, but they're going to be very, very secure. And this is very, very thick. I mean, I would compare it to the kind of pressure that a Pelican could take. Now, this doesn't have any kind of release valve like a Pelican has, but it still has that same durable material, the O-ring. Like, I've thrown mine in water just to see how well it'll land, how well it'll sustain itself. But this is a very strong case, and at $110, I really couldn't ask for much more. Like I said, I personally own one of these, and I own one of the shorter ones for one of my pistol builds. But they're very strong. So then we go to our final case, which is the longest of them. This is the ASG Striker Systems case. It's 46 inches in length, so we of course have our longest shotgun, or one of our longer guns. We could put one of the sniper rifles in here, but it literally sits just on the edge. So while this is a hard case, and it's certainly going to take a lot more beating up, and it'll take a bunch of scratches and everything, you can actually look at the plastic on this. It's very pliable, like you can move this around, unlike any of the other hard cases. So it is very thin along here. Now, it still has relatively deep padding, but it's completely glued down. So we even move the shotgun over, the padding underneath here, it's completely glued into the platform. So you can't adjust anything else on this one. Pretty much you just take your rifle, you lay it in, and then you smash it down to get it into the position that you want it to be in. So again, if we want to look at the whole dimensions on this thing, considering it is a thinner plastic, we should be sitting at exactly 46 inches for your overall length that you can mess with on this guy. And sure enough, when I lock it down, there I am right at 46 inches. That's what's going to be on the inline. And then as far as depth, or the height that we're working with here, it's about 11.5 inches total, a little less than 11 as soon as you get to the handle right there. So depth on these things, you have about 1.5 inches to 2 inches on the sides, but then again you have a lot of padding that you can't remove, so there's not a lot of play there. Now this has a different system than the others do. So this uses a reverse lock, which is built on pressure. So it's very easy to close. But essentially, as you see here, it's push and then you pull. And that's how it releases. You push into the middle and pull from the top. So fairly decent for what this is, but this is only a $60 case, which means you're getting quite a good bit of value for as much as you have. And it looks very deep, but it doesn't have as much of the depth to it that you can customize. So while I do like this case, I prefer the durability of some of the other ones. I think one of the other added advantages of this one is you have a little ID case right here on the front, so you can actually put like a business card, or you can put a name tape or something right here in the front. You can just simply remove the plastic insert, slide your information into that front slot, put it back down, and then you're all closed up, good to go. And you just close up your case like you normally would, and you're square. Okay, this is probably the lightest of the cases that we have here, and it certainly still has a good bit of depth and length to it. And at $60, this is a great bargain just to get a nice hard case to be able to transport your stuff around in and not really worry about how much damage it's going to take. So just to kind of go over again, we have the Classic Army, the 32-inch case down at the end. That's going to be a $100 case right at $99.99. We have the VFC Stackable case at $58, which is about the same length as the Classic Army. You still have about 34 inches total to work with. Then you have the Classic Army 42-inch case with about 40 inches on the inside to work with. Still with good depth and still very, very strong. That's my favorite of the cases that we have here. And then we go to the ASG Strike System $60 46-inch hard case, which also is a great contender, especially for price falling between all the cases that we have here and still being the longest of the three. So if you haven't, we do recommend picking up a hard case, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of transportation, or if you're going to be traveling a lot with any of your airsoft guns, or if you're just looking for storage, because a hard case means that you have a hard point of storage, means you can use it as a shelf, you know, when you're putting everything away. But hard cases are a way of life for me. Hard cases, they've certainly saved my equipment in the past. And I mean, a soft case, I've broken flashlights, optics, you know, you name it. I've probably broken it in a soft case, and they do wear down over time. While they're great for transporting, they're not as great for storage, especially when you're doing long transportation hauls. So come in, check out the cases in store here, and we'll see you around, guys. Take it easy.